Hey now! What's happening, guys? I'm here with my good buddy Abigail Hammond, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her journey in the tugboat industry so far. Abby, what's happening?
What's going on? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, so I guess my journey really just started with my grandfather was part of the industry. So he used to take me out on jobs when he could. He did like a lot of yacht deliveries, and then like for a period of time he was working for Cito.
Okay.
So anytime he could like take me out, we'd pack a lunch, go tow some boats, get boats that broke down, need gas.
Right, I get that. How old were you when you started doing that with him, you think?
Once I started going on him with like Cito, I was probably like 7 or so.
So you've been out
Yeah.
excuse me, on the water pretty much your whole life.
Yeah, and they live on a yacht down in Florida, so I've pretty much always been down there.
Okay, that's
Did
cool.
like sailing camp in the summer down in Miami and all that stuff. So, yeah, I was just like hooked
right
immediately.
I get it.
So,
where'd you go to school?
I went to school at Mass Maritime.
Mass Maritime. So you did 2 years, 4 years. Tell us how you did it.
So I did 4 years at Mass Maritime. So I came out with my Bachelor of Science and then also my third mate unlimited tonnage.
Okay.
So that's my Coast Guard license, and I knew that I always wanted to go tugs,
Okay.
but I figured it'd be good to have as a backup, just get the full license, get it all done at
Especially
once.
since you're already going to school.
Yeah,
I get
exactly.
that. When was your first time on a tugboat? Like during school wise, like actually working boat?
During school, I would say it was my junior year.
Okay.
We had, what's it called? An elective class called Tugs and Towing, and that was like with one of my favorite teachers. So I made sure it fit into my schedule.
Right.
So I did that class, loved it. Like we're running around on little like 15, 20-foot tugs, pushing like a 50-foot barge. Like it was nothing special, but like from that moment, I was like, oh, this is it. Like I want to be able to be in the wheelhouse, actually maneuvering a vessel and not just staring out a window on autopilot.
Right.
Other one.
Oh well, we're on a boat, and that
Yeah.
shit happens. Okay. So when the Mass Maritime, when did you start working for McAllister?
I started working for McAllister almost 2 years ago, coming up on my 2 years in July.
Man, go ahead. And so tell us about your journey from the deck to the wheelhouse.
So when I first got hired, I was looking about like a year that I was going to be on deck, and then I'd start my training and transition into the wheelhouse. I was lucky enough to get on the boat with you guys, so it was killer. Like you guys taught me like if I learn the harbor, then I can drive the boat when we're light and kind of work my way into the wheelhouse that way. So, I mean, I loved being on deck. Even like sometimes when I have to go and grab a line, it's like, oh man, I kind of miss this.
Man, I still like throwing the lines too now.
Oh yeah, it's so fun.
Yeah, that was one of the golden rules that I still have with training anybody. If you don't know where you are, you can't drive the boat. So Abby really quick picked up she wanted to drive the boat. So she picked up where she was and knew her way around the harbor. I bet the first, 3 hitches, you think? 2 hitches?
Yeah. I mean, I know for a fact, like, the first hitch, there was one day we were, like, going out to the Narrows at the Verrazano Bridge, and, like, you had pointed out Bay Ridge, Stapleton, Homeport, and the Verrazano Bridge. And then, like, the next day, we just happened to be in the same place at the same time. And you were like, what's that? What's that? What's that? What's that? And then you're like, sick, get in the chair. I was like,
so it's one.
Yeah, my first couple days. I mean, I was just like playing around. It's not like I was doing anything crazy, but yeah.
All right, cool. Thanks for reminding me of that. I do remember that now that you say that. All right, so you decked probably a year, a little less than a year?
A little less than a year. I think it was about 8 months that I was on deck.
Okay, and then you went training on the Ellen, which you're
my
the mate
home.
of now. Okay, so tell us about your experience so far in the wheelhouse being mate.
It's been awesome. It was like same thing. It's a bit of a learning curve, even just coming from like the Bryan, that's like your traditional Z drive. To over here, because we have that V-shaped hull, the boat just handles way differently.
Right.
But it was really cool. I know, like, when I first got over here, I was like, oh my God, this boat doesn't do anything that I want it to do. Like, it's all over the place. And then I slowly figured it out. And then the nice thing was I already knew the jobs from, like, being on deck. I knew how to handle being on deck, how to watch out for my deckhands. and all that stuff. So then it was just a matter of like focusing on what I'm doing with the boat, because I could handle everything else, which is the important part of being on deck.
Very true. And I'll say it again, if you're not any good on deck, then you're not going to be any good in the wheelhouse.
For sure. That's 100% true. So, yeah, I mean, just started doing jobs. You know, you have your oopsies here and there. And as long as you're not hurting anybody or hurting the boat too bad, you know, it's not a big deal. But, yeah, it's been awesome. I still think I learned something new pretty much every day.
Same here.
And, yeah, I love it. I'm just hit a year of being a mate last year.
Well, man, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
You know, McAllister's lucky to have her. What could you tell anybody that's coming up that wants to get into industry? What can you give them any guidance on?
Yeah, I mean, I think my biggest thing is like learn as much as you can, ask as many questions as possible. I mean, I'm sure even you remember, like, I'd be like, this is probably a stupid question, but I'm going to ask it anyway.
No stupid questions.
There's no stupid questions, but sometimes you have to preface the question.
Right.
But, yeah, no, ask as many questions as you can. Try and get in touch with as many people as you know in the industry. There's a lot of really cool Instagram pages. I was just telling Willie, me and my friend Jess actually just started a page called, or not a page, but a community, Women on Tugboats, and I'll have Willie put the information down below.
I will have it there.
Yeah, that's going to be a bunch of information and a bunch of like specifically for women trying to get into the industry. You know, like I think my biggest thing when I first came here was I had a lot of questions, and you know, like I can ask the guys in the office, but it's totally different. You know,
it really
just
is.
Even between office guys, and then like if I knew anybody on a boat, and then like if I knew women on the boat, like that would be so much more helpful. So that's like my main part with that page, is just trying to give people a little bit of a resource to reach out and be like, hey, do you know about this company, or do you know about what I should bring, or just simple stuff like that, what to expect. So
well, that's cool that y'all started that. How is it being a woman in the industry? Like, is it challenging in any way, hanging around a bunch of guys, or?
I don't think it's necessarily challenging. I'm definitely aware of it in certain circumstances.
I get that.
But with this company specifically, I really have not had a problem, and I'm very lucky to have had like really good crews and really understanding people who don't treat me any differently. I think I had more issues in school than I did here, for sure.
I get that.
So a lot of it, I think, just coming out of school and like having all of those, you know, I don't know what you'd call it, but a lot of just difficulties, and you know, a lot of the prejudgments of like, oh, like if it was like that in school, then like I got my work cut out for me when I get into the industry.
But it's really not like
that. No, it's not. But like all these old salts make you think like, oh, you wait till you get out there.
Right? No, I get that.
And I came here and I was like, oh, this is awesome. Everybody's so like laid back and just really understanding. Like I said, I haven't had any problems. Anytime I talk about like that page that I've been working on, I've been talking to with a couple of the pilots. They're like, oh, good for you. That's so cool to start. So it's been easy. Honestly, I've been lucky enough to have really good crews.
Well, hell yeah. Is there anything else you'd like to add to tell the fine viewers of YouTube?
No, I mean, just, you know, if you think that you're interested in it, like, follow your dreams on that one, as corny as it sounds.
But
like,
really, we love being out here.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm not gonna lie.
Every second of the day, it's just like, even when I'm at home, like, all right, I'm ready to go back on the water, make some money, you know, drive around. I miss driving my boat, being with my people, because, like you said, we live here like half the year, so.
It's really more of a lifestyle than a job. These people out here are your second family.
Yeah.
And, you know, having that crew camaraderie or connection is important, and that's what makes the time go by to get home to your other family.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks for doing this, and I appreciate you. And I'm glad to see how well you're doing. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
Hey, now.